What's up, beautiful souls? It's Candy, your spiritual bestie, and I'm here with an Oracle deck review. You know, when I first started looking into purchasing my very first Oracle deck, which is this deck right here, I didn't see a lot of reviews on divination decks, and I didn't see a lot of people just kind of showing them off to give you an idea of what you're getting. And I'm the type of person that if I'm about to buy something, I'm going to YouTube to look for a review. So I decided to do this for you guys. This is not a sponsored video, but do please hit the like, subscribe, and share button on this video. I am new to YouTube, so I'm working on growing my page, and check out my other videos. I do card of the day a couple times a week, so I do post at least a couple videos a week, so definitely go check those out. You can connect with me on Instagram at Spiritual Bestie, and also I encourage you guys to check out my podcast, Real Talk with the Spiritual Bestie. Is available on many platforms, including Google Play, Apple, Spotify, Anchor, and a lot of other podcast platforms. So let's get into this card review. My very first deck was the Sacred Rebels deck, and again, that's by Alana Fairchild. And I purchased this deck on Amazon. I want to say I paid around or less than $20 for this deck, so I do feel like it's reasonably priced. It came in this thick, sturdy box. As you see, this box is very thick and just a hard cardboard box. So inside the box came the guidebook as well as the Oracle cards themselves. And I'll talk a little bit about the guidebook first. The guidebook actually is a really nice book to even if you don't have even if you're not like pulling an Oracle card, you can flip through this book and just get a message. And I love how the time that she took to create this product, I really love about this deck. And I'm going to talk more about the deck itself in a moment. But when you open up the guidebook, you have the table of contents, you have a nice illustration over here to the left, and an introduction where she discusses her inspiration for the book. She also talks about what the message of this deck is, why you need this deck, what does it offer, the energy of the deck. She talks about how the deck connects with you, and also gives you ways of connecting with the deck yourself and connecting deeper with the messages that the cards bring. So when you draw a card from this deck, and I am going to draw a card and actually do a card of the day on this video as well. But when you draw a card, and this is not the card that we're going to discuss today, but when you draw a card, as you see, it has a number on it. So you'll go into the guidebook and you'll flip to wherever that number is. She has it numbered on here, and she has it numbered here in the book, in the descriptive section. So it makes it really easy to find. As you see, some descriptions in some Oracle card books are really short, but she does go in depth, and she does give a nice message for you to connect with your card with. So I found that was very beautiful. This is 183 pages. I don't use the book really very much, but in the beginning, when I used to travel and take my cards, I would sometimes travel with the box and sometimes I wouldn't. So I would throw the book like in my bag or in my purse, and I would just go. So mine is a little more worn, but I encourage you to take good care of your decks. Also, when you first purchase any type of divination tool, I strongly urge you and encourage you to cleanse your tools, cleanse your products, because these tools have gone through many hands before they meet yours, and they've connected with different types of energies. So Be mindful of the people that work in the manufacturer center that actually prints out these cards and prints out these books and prints out and creates the tools that you use to connect with spirit with. Make sure that you're just cleansing your tools. It's just a safety measure that everybody should be taking. Also, clean your hands. Wash your hands before you use your deck. This is going to help your deck to last longer. So with this deck, you're not going to shuffle it like you do a regular deck of playing cards. Now, my standard Rider-Waite Tarot deck, I do shuffle. I shuffle like a regular deck of playing cards. But I wouldn't really encourage that as common practice because it does wear your cards down. And if you want these cards to last, take care of them. That's all you have to do. Handle them with a little TLC. So what I love about these cards is that they are so colorful. They are so vibrant and bright and beautiful, and the artwork is really beautiful, very creative. As you see, the cover art is also one of the oracle cards, and they have beautiful short messages right here that you can use to just connect with as well. I find that every time I draw from this deck, and I've been using it for a while, so I come across cards that I've come across before, of course, and I connect with them because I get different messages and different things every time I draw these cards. But the messages are so beautiful and it's so colorful. And I love the fact that these cards are thicker quality. They don't feel cheap at all. They have like a glossy finish to them. The downside to the finish of the card is that the cards do tend to stick together. So when you're shuffling, it is more challenging to shuffle, through the deck because they tend to stick together. But you can tell just by going through this deck, and also when you go into the message in the guidebook, that she really took her time. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate when artists or creators don't just throw stuff out there and charge people for it. I feel like the deck is reasonably priced. I got it a little cheaper on Amazon, but on the back of the box it says that $23.95 US is the cost of this deck, just I guess the standard retail price. And even that is not a bad price for the quality that you get in this deck. So this is how I encourage you guys to shuffle your deck, but feel free to do it however you like. It's yours. If you purchase it, it's your deck, so you handle it and do with it. But I find that this is really the easiest way, because even if you want to shuffle like you do a standard deck of cards, if you have a small set of hands like me, it is more difficult, more challenging to really give that standard card shuffle to them. And every now and then I do shuffle these cards like that, but I don't make it a regular practice because, again, if you take care of the cards, they will last a lot longer and they'll hold up a lot better, especially when they're made with quality like this. So I'm just going to give it a little shuffle. We're going to draw our card of the day today, and then we're going to get into a little bit of this book. I will not make this video long at all, as you can see from how long it is. So Shock of the New. That is the card that we have. And the message that I'm receiving is that sometimes when we are placed in situations that are new and unfamiliar, we tend to be a little bit more guarded and a lot more apprehensive to connecting in the way that we really should. And a lot of us resist change. We will stay in negative situations and we'll stay in toxic relationships and toxic environments just because we're comfortable and just because we're afraid of what is new. So when you enter into a new experience and you're, maybe changing your lifestyle, embrace what is going on around you. Embrace the opportunity to build new things, to create new things. Embrace and allow yourself to be divinely inspired by spirit in the moment. Live in the moment. Don't get so caught up on what no longer is or what you think something should be, but embrace the new. And it's going to shock you a little bit, but when you're shocked, your creative juices start to flow. You start to become more in tune and aware of what's going on around you, and you're able to connect because your senses are heightened. I remember when I moved to Atlanta, and I had traveled outside of Tampa, but I have never lived outside of Tampa. So when I moved to Atlanta, I was on my P's and Q's because I was paying more attention to my environment. I was making sure that, my son and I were, safe, and I was really aware of what we were doing, but also I was forced to step out of my comfort zone and be more outgoing in order to make connections and meet new people in the new city that I was in. So, the shock of the new. Let's see what the message is inside of the guidebook, though, for this card. And it's card number 6. And again, the book itself, the pages are not like super cheap and flimsy and thin. So, it's nice quality. It's nice quality. She invested money into this project. So I appreciate that. As a consumer, I definitely appreciate it. So it says, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read a little bit. But as you can see, she does give a nice message for each card. I found that to be amazing because I've seen a lot of card decks that come with like messages like this. And sometimes you don't need a lot. But this was my first Oracle deck, and I needed a little bit of insight into the message that and the inspiration of the cards. So I appreciated having a more lengthy message that helped me to familiarize myself with the energy of these cards and the energy that was channeled in order to create this artwork and the cards and the message. So it says, what wild, unconventional voice is calling you? Can you hear it? It is so different and so unusual, it might be hard to decipher. Like hearing an unfamiliar language for the first time. It might be hard to discern with great clarity now, but there is an affinity between you and this strangely beautiful newness seeking to manifest. This oracle says there is a stirring at the deepest level within you. Something new will break through, and the process of this birth may be a shock to you. The shock will transform into great joy and a sense of tremendous liberation, but you must bear the strangeness first. The strangeness might be something that rattles your beliefs about yourself and your world, daring you to become more of yourself, more open to where life is leading you, and more willing to be the unique sacred art being crafted by the hand of the universal creator. So she gives and goes into the message in the guidebook, and then she has at the end of every message a healing process, which is just an exercise for you to do in order to connect deeper with the oracle card. So I'm going to read a snippet of this. If you find it difficult to visualize, you may like to write a description of your strange and beautiful creature, or simply imagine what it would feel like. Does it have soft fur, sharp claws, feathery wings made of crackling, fizzling electrical currents, or sensitive furry antennae with delicate eyes on the tips? Or is it a strange flower that speaks? So she's asking this healing process at the beginning, which I just jumped into one of the paragraphs. She says to imagine the strangest and most beautiful creature that you can. And she gives you some steps to creating and some things to think about and to stimulate thought as you're doing this healing process work. So then at the end, she also a lot of times will put just something to say out loud. And this one says, I'm supported through the shock of the new. I accept the beauty in all that is foreign or strange to me, as I know it's bringing me new gifts, wisdom, life experiences, and creative inspiration through unconditional love. So be it. So, again, this is the Sacred Rebels deck. I absolutely love this deck. It is one of my favorite divination decks that I own, hands down. I talked about the quality. I showed you guys every single card in this deck. There are 45 cards, This book is 183 pages. She does have other products, so I encourage you, to check out maybe some of her other decks or cards or products if you don't necessarily feel a connection directly with this deck. I don't want to say for some reason because I know the reason, but when I initially looked into purchasing this deck, I felt an immediate connection to this deck when I came across it, and I'm like, this is the deck for me. And I use this deck every day in my card of the day in my Instagram stories, and I divinely channel the messages. Again, like I said, I don't really use the book myself, but when you purchase these decks, they are for you to use in the way that you feel led by spirit to use them. So use them how you want to, handle them with care, make sure you cleanse your products. And if I give this a rating, I would give it a 4 out of 5 hearts. And the reason I say 4 out of 5 is one thing that I would like to see more of in this type of deck is more cultural diversity. Now you do see more native looking figures in some of these cards, but I want to see more melanated people. I want to see Asian people, Hispanic people. I want to see, Black people. I want to see more cultural diversity in these oracle cards because I like to see figures that remind me of who I look at in the mirror every single day. It helps me to connect more. And I'm not taking away anything from this deck because this is an absolutely beautiful deck the way that it is. I'm not taking that away at all. What I would like to see is more inclusive and more inclusion of people of color. And also I would like to see some men in these oracle decks. Now I haven't purchased her other decks, so maybe she provides this in some of her other products. But Sacred Rebel, I would hands down recommend this deck to anybody. And again, this deck is beautiful just the way that it is, but I would like to see more cultural diversity just in general across the board. I'm starting to see it more now in different oracle decks, but that's just one of the things that if I could change anything about this deck, that would be it. That's it. The artwork was done by Autumn Sky Morrison, and she did a phenomenal job. I believe that the two of them working together, you could see that they really connected with each other and with the vision of this and bringing the vision of this deck to life. So I really appreciate the work and the time and the effort that was put in. So this is your review of Sacred Rebels deck, and I hope that you guys go check it out, go purchase it on Amazon, and support healers and spiritual workers that are out here putting out quality products, not just putting out stuff to grab your money, but putting out quality products that are divinely inspired by spirit. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Please, again, like, subscribe, and share this video. And check out my podcast. Follow me on Instagram. Talk to me. I talk back. If you guys have a deck that you would like to have me review or would like to send to me to review, you can email me at spiritualbestie@gmail.com. Otherwise, I will see you guys on the next round. Peace.